Emergency podcast time yet again. Didn't I just do one of these the other day? I did very recently. This time it's UCLA basketball because Sebastian Mack, a 4-star shooting guard out of Nevada, has committed to UCLA basketball, really rounding out the early signing period for UCLA men's basketball's class of 23 commits. He joins Brandon Williams and Devin Williams, one from New York, the other one from SoCal. Sebastian Mack from Nevada is a 4-star from 247 from various outlets. Look at all these different things. Around a 70th ranked recruit to a 65th round recruit. I've kind of looked at different sites. He's around the 60th to 70 plateau in terms of best players in the country. 4-star in terms of just stars overall. And this is a guy, the first guard, if you add the Williams, Devin, and Brandon Williams, more 6'9", 6'10", as those are guys who committed early, a month and a half ago. Those two guys committed within a couple weeks of each other. Then a month later, UCLA found themselves, what's going on? I don't know. They hadn't found a point guard, and here they are, excited and ready to go, just like I am with Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer, for this emergency Locked On UCLA podcast. The Bruins, at the end part of the early signing period, were without a guard. They had two big men, the Williams, not related, one of the top recruits in SoCal, and one of the top rated recruit in New York, when they were able to swoop Brandon Williams out of St. John's grasp, and then the late pursuits from UCLA to get a guard in Sebastian Mack, who is choosing between his top three of Florida State and Oklahoma. Seems like from various reports, maybe Oklahoma was the leader, depending on which person you want to believe on what site, and even Florida State. And UCLA wasn't really, it didn't seem like for a long time, in those sweepstakes until they realized, hey, Isaiah Collier also just committed, fortunately across town. Marco Jackson a few weeks ago, who I mistakenly had mentioned, hey, UCLA had a shot. No, he committed to Kansas. And UCLA, without some of the top 9 guards, those are all commits. Top 9 guards across the country were all fine and dandy. They were gone. So UCLA found themselves, Tiger Campbell technically has an extra year of eligibility, right? Well, they need a guard. And Campbell, where's he going to go? Well, he could leave, go to the draft, go play pro ball somewhere. UCLA has quite a few. They have a couple seniors, a couple of guys who can go pro after that. Well, more than a couple, depending on where you view certain guys on this year's roster thus far. But Mick Cronin's trying to build things from year to year, not only supplant this year's roster with big guys like getting late international transfers, and then get guys late in the recruiting game, like ripping another recruit who had just went on an official visit to UCLA, I believe, over the last weekend, did Sebastian Mack, the son of the former pro player in Sam Mack, and UCLA finds themselves getting a guy who, in his own words, this is what he said to the On3 website for UCLA. Well, I chose UCLA because he felt that Mick Cronin, I felt the Coach Cronin, would get me to the next level and help me play my kind of style in order to be successful. This is what UCLA is getting in Sebastian Mack's own words. UCLA is getting a killer, quote unquote, someone that will do whatever it takes to win and lead his guys to the next level. They're also getting a leader and a guy who loves the game. All words I'm assuming Mick Cronin would love, of course, dating back to his Cincinnati days. This is a guy that's going to be one of those grinded out, very strength oriented and very tough guys like in Cincinnati. Went back to his days when he was a Bearcat with Coach Cronin. So now for UCLA, here they are rounding out the class of 23. Those 3 guys, 4 stars. If you remember, Andrei Stojakovic, who actually had UCLA in his final 3, 4, or 5, whatever it is, it's all the same. And UCLA actually watched him spurn the Bruins, who they seem to be, at least for a long time, possibly a real running at Stojakovic, who eventually chose Stanford very recently. But the Bruins already big with Brandon Williams and Devin Williams. And now that here they have with Mack joining the Bruins, and for all intents and purposes, a shooter, scored 3-level score from what I've read about Mack. And it's up to the Bruins to really replace some backcourt depth that they have a little bit this year from last year and years previous. That might be what they need to tap into recruiting, and UCLA gets a late get in the early signing period of someone who, after they've watched on the football side of things, recruits get tapped in and yanked. Although the Bruins did just get a big 4-star receiver recruit from Jeremiah McClure, it's the basketball side of things that gets Sebastian Mack, who comes through from Coronado, and from Nevada to help round out the recruiting core for UCLA. Again, they needed to get a guard of any sort, technically a labeled shooting guard, 6'3", 6'4", for whatever it, depending on which site you look at. And from what I've seen, he's 6'3" for UCLA, and that was a big get. It seemed like were the Bruins missing something when it came to getting a guard. They missed out on Marco Jackson, one of the last guards out there, with Isaiah Collier, who just chose USC as a top recruit. So the Bruins, hey, they needed to get someone, whether it be an under-the-radar guy, which it seems like Mack may be, or whoever it is, to figure out that hole and plug it in, whether it be a point guard, shooting guard. Mack labeled as a shooting guard. We'll see what role UCLA has for him moving forward when he comes to become a Bruin, but his commit earns the Bruins another recruiting class that, what I've seen, may be ranked around the top 15 in the country, depending on which site you use on 3. You can use 24/7 Sports, whatever site, 247. However it all goes, UCLA continuing almost the opposite of football. Basketball, they'll go get your recruit. Football, they'll hand you their recruit and go hit the portal. Unlike Mick Cronin, it's funny how it goes with the football and basketball recruiting, how it's so different between Coach Cronin and Chip Kelly. I mean, there's the obvious statement. Everybody's going to say it. They're going to say it in the comments. I'm going to say it for you. UCLA basketball school, question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Well, you're not wrong, but UCLA should still be able to get whoever they want in the basketball ranks. And SoCal's not a bad place to play football, regardless of who shows up in the stands. It's just funny how UCLA, basketball-wise, they can go poach whoever they want. Football, they lose their top recruits. It is just the way it is. But in basketball, this is how the Bruins should be operating. And now Coach Mick Cronin, acting with the recruiting and everything, ruthless as it gets, as Mack joins the Bruins, a guard they desperately needed in this class of 23 commit, especially in the early signing period, with Devin Williams and Brandon Williams already on tap, already committed. They've been done so for a month. The Bruins get Mack, who just announced that he is going to be a Bruin. It's nice to see UCLA 3-0 and join the ranks of continuing to build better and better recruiting classes. The Bruins already have Amari Bailey, all sorts of things at Dembona. Hopefully we can see next year Mick Cronin come, maybe on this podcast. Who knows, next year, talking about how the likes of Sebastian Mack is elite when it comes to preseason practice for the 23-24 season. Until then, the Bruins get a 4-star recruit, get the guard they needed, and are excited, and should be excited, that they really kind of rounded out different things in the recruiting class, poaching someone's top recruit in Oklahoma, taking St. John's literally from their backyard, taking Brandon Williams, and then Devin Williams between UCLA-SC. While the Bruins didn't get Collier, they did get Devin Williams, who is clearly going to be a Bruin. Come on. Compton Magic, Jalen Clark, however it is. Bruins have 3 commits for their class of 23. It's all said and done, as we are excited. UCLA fans, get those hands in the air. It's 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA, fight, fight, fight. In the meantime, this emergency podcast is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, potential new hires feel like high stakes wagers, especially like the recruiting game has become nowadays in basketball, football. High stakes wagers for small businesses. It seems like recruiting's become a small business in all sorts of college athletics. You want to be 100% certain that you have the access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you should check out LinkedIn Jobs. Just like the Bruins checked out Sebastian Mack, got him, nabbed him, said, let's go. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. They've got screening questions that helps you get the right candidates you want to interview, prioritize them, and then get them hired. That's why LinkedIn Jobs is rated number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors by small businesses. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. As we thank you for tuning into this emergency podcast yet again for UCLA basketball getting recruit football the other day. It's basketball today. Zach Anderson Yoxheimer saying, all right, good night. We'll keep going on. A busy, wild rivalry week and everything in store. Hey, what's the UC Regents going to go? Who knows? We'll find out and talk to you on Locked On UCLA. Emergency podcast is over. Good night, good day, however it is. This has been Locked On UCLA Emergency Status. Go Bruins!